वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपासिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद, श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंद। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। श्रील रूप गोस्वामी प्रभुपाद की जय। निताई गौर प्रेमानंदे। हरि हरि बोल। गिरौ मयूरा गगने पयोदा, लक्षान्तरैर्कश्च जलेषु पद्मम्। इन्दुर्द्विलक्षे कुमुदस्य बन्धुर्, यो यस्य मित्रं नहि तस्य दूरम्। गिरौ मयूरा. On the mountains there are peacocks, but the friend of the peacocks is far away in the sky. The dark cloud is the friend of the peacock. It is far away. But still the peacock becomes happy on seeing the friend who is far away in the sky. Lakshantarer-kascha. And the sun is a million miles away, but its friend, the lotus, is in the water down below. But still the lotus becomes happy on seeing the sun. Indur Dvilakshe. And the moon is even further away, 2 million miles away, according to the Bhagavatam. Kumudasya Bandhur. But it is a friend to the night lily. The night lily becomes happy and blooms immediately when it sees the moon, which is so far away. The conclusion is, Yo yasya mitram nahi tasya duram. Actually, true friends are never far away. So thank you so much, Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu Prabhu. Although you are far away, you are not really far away. Thank you, Narottam Vilas Prabhu, for kindly singing the verse so nicely. And thank you all dear devotees who are present here. I see so many wonderful recognized faces. Param Karuna Prabhu, Vishwadeep Prabhu, many other wonderful devotees are present here. Thank you for kindly being present here today, dear devotees. We are continuing our study of Śrī-Upadeśāmṛtam. And in Śrī-Upadeśāmṛtam, Srila Rupa Goswami is teaching many wonderful instructions that will help us advance on the path of bhakti. So, dear devotees, before we begin this detailed study of Rupa Goswami's Upadeshamritam, we should offer some prayers to the author, Srila Rupa Goswami, because we are not ungrateful people. We are most grateful, and we would like to offer gratitude to our Acharya, Sri Rupa Goswami, who has so kindly and mercifully given us Śrī-Upadeśāmṛtam. Shri Rupasya padasvadah, Shri Rupasya padairiha, Bhavatyeva sada tasmat, Shri Rupasya padam shraye. Shri Rupasya padasvadah iha. In this world, the constant sweet experience of Shri Rupa Pada. Shri Rupa refers to beautiful looking Krishna, that Krishna who has a beautiful form, and Pada means the feet. So the constant sweet experience of the feet of the beautiful looking Krishna happens certainly through Shri Rupa Pada. The second meaning is Shri Rupa Goswami is Pada, poetry. Tasmat, therefore, Shri Rupasya Padam Shraye. Therefore, I take shelter of Shri Rupa Pada, the lotus feet, Pada of Shri Rupa Goswami. So in this way, dear devotees, having offered obeisances to the wonderful author, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, I'd like to continue discussion of Śrī-Upadeśāmṛtam. And we were in the middle of the 5th instruction. And this instruction is in front of us. Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta, dekshasti chet pranatibhischa bhajantamisham, śuśrūṣayā bhajana-vijñam ananya, nindādishunya hridamīpsita sangalabdhyā. So Srila Rupa Goswami was telling us how to honor all devotees, beginning with the devotee who has simply the name Krishna on their speech faculty or on their tongue. So one must mentally honor that individual on whose speech faculty the name Krishna exists. And last time we saw Chet, if Diksha asti, if Diksha is also seen in such an individual. And Bhajantam Isham, and he is Bhajantam, he is actively worshipping Isham, the Supreme Lord. Then Cha, one must also honor, which means that the previous honor is automatically included. The previous mental honor is automatically included. And on top of that, Pranativihi, by paying obeisances. This was covered last time, dear devotees. Now there is something remaining, a small portion remaining from last time, which I would like to add here. And that is that there are certain situations when one should not offer pranaams to others. So this is a small detail and this detail is often overlooked or ignored. So dear devotees, one should not offer pranams to others in certain situations. These situations are specified in Subhashit Ratna Bhandagaram, in the Subhashit literature. And the verse is as follows. Durastham jalamadhyastham dhavantam dhanagarvitam krodhavantam madonmattam namaskare pivarjayet. One must avoid offering obeisances to the following people. First, Durastham, somebody who is far away. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, if somebody is far away and we offer obeisances to them, what may happen? Can you please tell us?
I'm not sure what would happen. They don't notice?
Yeah, they will never notice and they may not respond back. And we may develop some negativity towards them. So the problem is on our side. Why offer obeisances to somebody who's so far away that they can't even notice it? Second is jalamadhyastham, somebody who is standing or swimming in water. Now they are standing on a very slippery surface. So we try to offer obeisances to them and they may try to do the same and they may slip. So therefore, please don't offer obeisances to somebody who is standing or swimming in water. Dhavantam, somebody who's running. Because when we try to offer obeisances to such a person, they have to immediately stop and they may trip over because of stopping like that. Or they are running towards us and we offer obeisances and then they have to jump over us. They have to try to avoid us. Try and avoid running into us. So please don't try to do that. Dhavantam. And dhanagarvitam, somebody who is puffed up due to wealth. So there are many types of intoxication in this world. And three main types of intoxication are there in this world. Pramada, Madira, Lakshmi. Pramada means the opposite gender. Madira means wine. And Lakshmi, excessive wealth. So Pramada, the opposite gender, makes you intoxicated simply by looking. Madira, wine, makes you intoxicated by drinking. And Lakshmi, wealth, makes you intoxicated by over hoarding or over collection. So somebody who has over collected wealth and has become puffed up due to that wealth. Somebody who's not able to digest excessive wealth. And Krodhavantam, one who is angry. And Madonmattam, and one who is intoxicated. So these six people should never be paid obeisances to. So our acharyas have sometimes made some exceptions to this. For example, Sri Nityanand Prabhu, he offered obeisances even to Jagai and Madai, even though they were fitting into the two categories. Krodhavantam, they were angry, and Madonmattam, they were intoxicated. Still, he offered them pranaams and told them to chant Krishna's name. But the result was that they ended up striking him on the head. So the end result was not so good. But it was all Bhagwan's plan to bring them on the path of bhakti. But ordinarily, for our case, we should try not to offer obeisances to such people. Bhagavan may do it for his Lila or for bringing them into the path of bhakti. But especially when we are dealing with, this verse is especially when we are dealing with devotees. So especially when we are dealing with devotees, we should not try to offer obeisances if somebody is far away or standing or swimming in water, running, etc. So this is what it is. Now we continue our fifth instruction, and we are moving ahead to the next category. The third category is ananyam bhajana-vijñam śuśrūṣayā. Ananyam bhajana-vijñam. Ananyam, na anya. Somebody who has nobody else in their mind, in their consciousness, somebody who has become one-pointed is known as ananya. So amongst many initiated devotees, there may be many initiated devotees, we will find some devotee who has become very serious about their bhajan, who has become very serious about their bhakti. And how do we know that they are serious about their bhakti? They have done good amount of research, bhajana-vijñam. They have understood the entire science, vijnan, of bhajana, of bhakti. A person learns a particular science when they feel the need, the natural need to advance in that science. Otherwise, a person will not bother with it. Somebody who has genuinely acquired that taste, that fire within their stomach to advance in bhakti, they will become bhajana-vijña. They will learn the entire art because they genuinely want to advance. And they know that without understanding the science of bhakti, it is impossible to advance. Therefore, they have ended up learning the entire science of bhajan from a bona fide guru. Now, if you find such a person, śuśrūṣayā, then should also be honored. Such a person should be honored by śuśrūṣayā, inquiries and rendering seva. So not only should such a person be mentally honored, not only should they be honored by paying obeisances, but there is another thing which we should do, that is śuśrūṣayā. What is śuśrūṣayā? If a question is asked. So the translation here says by inquiries and by rendering seva. We will look into some detail into this term śuśrūṣayā. The term śuśrūṣayā means by performing śuśrūṣā. What is the meaning of śuśrūṣā? Śuśrūṣā means first service or worship. Śuśrūṣā also means talking or inquiring. And śuśrūṣā also means to desire to hear from that person. So these are the three meanings of śuśrūṣā. And these three meanings are mentioned in the standard dictionaries of Sanskrit language. For example, the Medini Kosh says, śuśrūṣā syad upasane kathane shrotum ichhayam. Śuśrūṣā syad. Śuśrūṣā is used in which context? Upasane. First is to serve and worship. Second, kathane, to talk or inquire. Third is shrotum ichhayam, to desire to hear from someone. These are the three contexts in which the term śuśrūṣā is used. So when we find a devotee who has become one-pointed in bhajan and who has become expert in the art of such bhajan, we should perform śuśrūṣā with them. Śuśrūṣā means first we should worship them or serve them. Second is we should talk to them and inquire from them confidentially. And third is we should also desire to hear from them. This is the complete spectrum of the meaning of the term śuśrūṣā. So although I translated by inquiries and by rendering seva, I felt that this translation does not do complete justice to the term śuśrūṣā. Therefore, now I have explained from the standard dictionary what is the complete spectrum of the meaning of the term śuśrūṣā. So these are the three meanings. So we should serve such a devotee, we should worship such a devotee, we should talk confidentially from them and inquire from them, and we should desire to hear from them. But we should note that such a devotee should be ananyam, one-pointed in their bhajan, and bhajana-vijñam. The test is that they should know the vijnan. they should know the science of bhajan, Krishna Bhakti. If a person does not know the science of Krishna Bhakti, or how Krishna Bhakti is a scientific process, then no matter how ananya, how one-pointed they might look externally, but because they are unable to explain to others the vijnam, the science of bhakti, therefore we will not consider them bhajana-vijñam. There are many individuals who appear ananya, very one-pointedly devoted to Bhagavan, to bhakti. But the test is they should be bhajana-vijñam. Their ananyata, their one-pointedness is put to the test when they are asked to explain the path of Krishna bhajan starting to end. If they are able to explain and resolve our doubts, then we understand that we have finally met such a person. Amongst thousands and thousands of people, we finally found the one whom we were looking for since long to make us, help us progress in our bhakti that was feeling stagnated since a long time. Dear devotees. Therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami is saying, śuśrūṣayā. Please render 3 activities with them: service, inquiry, and desire to hear them. This is what Sri Rupa Goswami says. So let's first and foremost try to understand how do we recognize such a ananya bhajana vigya. Not only ananya, not only he appears one-pointed, but he is also bhajana vigya. He is also very learned in the science, vijnana of bhakti, the science of bhakti. We will take the definition from Sri Rupa Goswami himself as to who is the person who is most expert in bhajan vijnana. Sri Rupa Goswami calls this person as Uttama Adhikari. And the definition of Uttama Adhikari is given by Sri Rupa Goswami himself. Many times we have, some devotee may come up with another definition of Uttama Adhikari. But we should accept the definition that has been given by the person who framed the term Uttama Adhikari. The person who framed the term Uttama Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari and Kanishta Adhikari is Sri Rupa Goswami. And since he is the one who framed the term, his definition is the one which is applicable. Otherwise, we will impose our definitions on the terms of Sri Rupa Goswami. So therefore, Sri Rupa Goswami's definition of Uttama Adhikari is as follows. Shastre yuktau cha nipunah sarvatha dridha nischayah praudha shraddhodhikariyah sabhakta uttamo matah. Sri Rupa Goswami says, a devotee who is Shastre yuktau cha nipunah, nipunah, expert in what? Shastre, in devotional shastra, and yuktau, and in logic based on such shastra. A devotee should also understand some logic which is based on shastra, not dry logic independent of shastra, but logic which is based on shastra. And sarvatha dridha nischayah. He should have firm determination and faith in the path shown by such devotional shastra. Praudha shraddho, that person who has such a great faith in shastra related to bhakti is to be known as uttamo, bhakta uttamo. On the path of bhakti, this person is uttama adhikari. So this is the characteristic of a person who is uttama adhikari. Rupa Goswami is also telling very clearly that a person becomes bhajana vigya, fully conversant with the science of bhajan by understanding the bhajana shastra, the literature related to bhakti. Without understanding bhajana shastra, literature related to bhakti, one cannot become bhajana vigya. One cannot become an expert in the science of bhajan. People will come to us and people will ask us their problems. And if we are not bhajan vigya, we will not be able to give them the solution. And then we will have to give them some token relief. What is the token relief? Some token relief like please keep praying and things will be okay. So that person is not coming for token relief. Every disease cannot be treated by giving painkillers. So we cannot treat every problem by giving the same solution. There is a specific solution in Shastra for a specific problem that a devotee has. But that can only be obtained when you approach the person who knows that particular Shastra. A person becomes an Ayurvedic doctor not simply by opening a big clinic. A person becomes an Ayurvedic doctor when they are able to find the exact medicine for the exact disease that the patient is suffering from. So somebody may appear ananya, very big Ayurvedic doctor, by posing as an Ayurvedic doctor and opening a very nice clinic. But unless they know how to mix the various, various medicines and how to produce the right combination, and unless they know how to administer the medicine, so they are not Ayurved Vigya. So such a person cannot be a proper Ayurvedic guide. Therefore, Rupa Goswami is also saying, if you want good guidance in your bhajan, select somebody who is bhajana-vijñam, who understands the Vigyan, the science of devotion, and that science is explained in the devotional literature, such as Srimad Bhagavatam, such as Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, and such as Narad Pancharatra, etc. So they should understand this. Unfortunately, many times these instructions on finding such a guru are neglected. It's not only Sri Rupa Goswami. Tradition also says, Vedas also say, that a guru should be somebody who understands the entire science through and through. Srila Prabhupada often used to quote this verse. This verse is from the Mundaka Upanisad. And Srila Prabhupada used to quote this verse often. He used to say, Tad vijnanartham sagurum eva bhigachet samit panihi shrotriyam brahmanishtham. A disciple should approach a specific guru. Which guru? Tad vijnanartham, in order to understand Vigyan, the science of Tad, that transcendental absolute truth. Sa, an eligible disciple, Gurum eva bhigachet, should approach a bona fide guru. And how should the disciple approach? Samit panihi, holding firewood in his hands. Because the disciple should always bring something for the guru, some gift for the guru. Traditionally, the brahmachari has nothing with him. So even the poorest of the disciple is being considered here. A disciple who has nothing, zero money, what can they get? So they can go to the forest, chop some wood, get some wood, and get that wood for fire sacrifice for the guru. So this is for a disciple who has zero money. Now, disciples who have more can obviously get more. But the minimum is samit panihi, get fire, get something for the guru. And how should that guru be? Shrotriyam, brahmanishtham. Shrotriya. Shrotriya is explained by the commentator as Shruti Sampannam. He should be fully equipped with Shruti or Vedic knowledge. And brahmanishtham. And that personality, that guru should be completely fixed in Brahma, the absolute truth, or the supreme personality of Godhead. They should be fixed in their bhajan towards Bhagavan Shri Krishna. So this Srila Prabhupada used to often quote. Here also, the necessity of the guru of being Shrotriya, fully equipped with the Shastra, is mentioned. Dear devotees, this requirement is a mandatory requirement for advancement in bhajan. It is not an optional requirement. Unless one understands the science, how will one know the path of advancement? And it is for this reason, because of not understanding the path, many individuals get stuck in between. And because of not being able to see the path ahead, because of not being able to find a guru who will show the path ahead, they are not able to progress for years, decades, or sometimes even the entire lifetime. Unfortunately, even though so much is said, many individuals don't want to progress ahead. Some individuals are happy simply with how they began. I am happy with my small group. This is how I began devotional service. I have 10 devotees around me. And, I am happy in my group. My group, all the good devotees are there. And this is the best group in the world. So in this way, I stay restricted only to my small little group. And this tendency is known as Kanishtha Adhikar. I am not able to appreciate other devotees. And for this reason, we are not able to advance. Now, how does advancement begin? Advancement begins when one starts feeling dissatisfied with this position of Kanishtha Adhikar. When one is naturally feeling dissatisfied. I am no longer satisfied in this position. I want to move ahead. And this is specified by our Acharya, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, I would like you to read this quote from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada.
Sure, Prabhuji. If one is fortunate, he gradually becomes disgusted with the limited vision and activities of the Kanishta Adhikari and learns to appreciate the expanded vision of the Madhyama Adhikari, who is able to recognize that every living entity should become a devotee of Krishna, and that one who achieves the perfection of life by following in the footsteps of an Uttama Adhikari devotee of the Lord. As one's devotional service gradually intensifies and one repeatedly bathes in the dust from the lotus feet of a pure devotee, the harassment of birth, death, hunger, thirst, fear, and so on gradually cease disturbing the mind.
Yes. So this is from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. He is quoted in the BBT purport to Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.49. He very clearly says, if one is fortunate, and that's a big if one is fortunate, he becomes disgusted gradually with the limited vision and activities of the Kanishtha Adhikari. This is when a person starts seeking out association which is ananyam bhajana-vijñam. Then he learns to appreciate that there are people who have a broader vision. A vision broader than simply, increasing the numbers. A vision for quality bhajan, dear devotees. And such a devotee finally achieves perfection of life by finding and following the footsteps of Uttama Adhikari. If one is able to find an Uttama Adhikari, as I was saying, the criteria is you have to find an Uttama Adhikari. Diksha Guru or Shiksha Guru, any one Guru should be an Uttama Adhikari. And as one's devotional service gradually intensifies and one repeatedly bathes in dust means one repeatedly serves the lotus feet of a pure devotee. One serves a pure devotee, the harassment of birth, death, hunger, thirst, fear, all cease disturbing the mind and one starts advancing on the path of bhakti. This is the certain short path of progress given by the previous acharyas. Somebody may try to manufacture their alternate path. No, I don't want to listen to Rupa Goswami. I will manufacture my own path. Dear devotees, amongst the 64 limbs of bhakti, the fourth limb is sadhu vartmanu vartanam, to follow the path shown by the previous sadhus. Please do not try to make a new path. We may try to make a new path, it is immense labor. And after some time, we may find our path joining the path of the previous sadhus. So the previous sadhus will laugh and say, we were telling you already, walk on our path. We have tested this path thoroughly. This was the safe path, sure path of advancement. You would have avoided wasting so many years if you would have simply followed this path. So therefore, dear devotees, this is the sure path of progress. But for that, one has to naturally feel dissatisfied with the position of a Kanishtha Adhikari, that I am happy where I am, whatever I got, devotional service, this is my final achievement. Now, no need to advance any further. At the moment of death, my Guru will take care. My Guru will open the back door for me. And at the moment of death, Krishna will take care of everything. I just have to continue the routine every day. That's what I have to do, nothing else. So if one is on that platform, one is not yet dissatisfied. One feels dissatisfied only when one is fortunate. So therefore, this level of advancement is only for those who are fortunate. If one is not feeling dissatisfied, there may be various reasons for that. Why can't everyone, hanker for or value such association? Why is everyone not looking out for such association? We may think, those of us who appreciate Uttama Adhikaris, we may think, why can't everyone understand that you should seek out an Uttama Adhikari? So there are various reasons for that. Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur gives one reason. Some individuals are too materialistic to think of advancement in bhakti. For them, bhakti is a side occupation. That material life is good, and bhakti I took up as a side interest. If it works, it works. If it doesn't work, anyways, I lived my life nicely. So this is the first category of individuals. Sri Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says about them in the Madhurya Kadambini. Vishaya Vishtachittanam Vishwaveshah Suduratah Varuni Diggatam Vastu Vrajannaindrim Kimapnuyat. Vishaya Vishtachittanam, for those individuals whose hearts, whose chitta is fully invested, avishta, in sense objects. So for those whose hearts are fully invested in sense objects, Vishnu Aveshaha, remembrance of Vishnu Sudurataha, that possibility is far away for them. Varuni Diggatam Vastu, Vrajam Aindrin Kina Apnuyat. How can objects lost in the west be found by searching the east? It is not possible. So a devotee who is lost in the pathways of sense objects or materialism will never be found walking on the pathways of serious bhajan. So this is what the first type of devotee who has given preference to material life over devotional service. See, there is one devotee who is serious about bhakti but who is struggling with material desires. That is not the devotee who is being spoken of here. The devotee who is being spoken of here is who has not given priority to devotional service, who has given priority to material life. And so materialistic, the advancement is, devotional service is a hobby for them, side hobby. Every Sunday, I have a side hobby. Like I go swimming, I go to the temple. So this is devotional service for me. So this is one reason why such individuals don't value such association. Another reason is that there may be devotees who are serious, but they don't feel the immediate need to advance. They don't feel that immediate need. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur had said, unless one is disgusted by Kanishta Adhikar, you can't start seeking it out. And this is reiterated by Shri Ramananda Raya in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Yavat kshudasti jathare jaratha pipasa tavat sukhaya bhavato nanu bhakshyapeye. Yavat kshudasti jathare jaratha pipasa tavat sukhaya bhavato. Delicious foodstuffs and cooling drinks generate satisfaction and joy only according to the degree of hunger and thirst in a particular individual. So, Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, let's say you are very hungry and very thirsty. Nirjala Ekadasi just passed. And the next day, somebody brings you a full plate of prasadam and very nice cooling drink. And the first sip that you take, what is the degree of happiness that you feel, Prabhu?
A huge relief and satisfaction.
Yes. And then, with every bite and with every, sip of drink, that happiness goes on gradually decreasing until you reach a point that if I bring you another big plate of prasadam, what will you say, Prabhu?
I've had enough.
Yes.
Thank you.
So this is what Sri Ramananda Raya also says. So one feels joy and happiness only according to the degree of hunger and thirst for a particular object. Since we don't have that fire burning in the stomach, therefore we are not seeking it out, and therefore we are not feeling joy in the association of Uttama Adhikaris. We are not even bothering to inquire who is an Uttama Adhikari. So therefore, we are not able to find such a person. Therefore, we are not able to associate with such a person. Therefore, we are not able to feel that happiness. Because that hunger, that thirst has not yet taken its seat in our heart. That is the reason. The third reason is, sometimes we may know that there are devotees who are advanced, but some individuals don't want to associate with any living sadhu. Some individuals are like that. They don't want to associate with a living sadhu. They love all the previous sadhus who have passed away and left behind their books, but they don't want to associate with a living sadhu. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur speaks of this phenomenon in the Jaiva Dharma. In the 12th chapter, he says, Visheshatah Jivit Mahapurusha Digera Prati Sadharanera Nana Karane Shraddha Sahaje Hayana. He says, for various reasons, people in general cannot easily put faith in a great saintly person who is physically present. Paraloke Gata Mahajanir Karya Manavera Adhik Shraddha Hai. People love to have great faith in saints who have departed from this world. So many people don't want to put any faith in a living personality. They don't want to have a living guru. They want to accept the books of previous personalities as their guide and guru. These are also devotees, and you will find that such individuals have been present at all times. It's not just a recent phenomenon. And they have their justifications for saying we don't accept any guru because, and they may give various reasons. But ultimately, the reason is because they do not accept any living personality as being qualified enough. Now, if somebody does not accept a living personality as being qualified enough, then one will not be able to get individual personalized guidance. Sri Rupa Goswami wants us to get individual guidance and personalized guidance. Bhajana-vijñam. A person became learned in bhajan so that he can guide us individually and personally. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was once asked a question. If Jesus Christ was a Jagat Guru and his instructions are capable of bringing us deliverance, why do we need an initiating spiritual master? Here is Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's reply to this query. Because this query is very pertinent, because sometimes people say, oh, I have Jagat Guru with me. I have the teachings of Jagat Guru with me. I don't need a personal individual guru. I don't need another guru. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur's answer is as follows. He says, we accept both the universal spiritual master, the Jagat Guru, and the initiating spiritual master. By accepting only the Jagat Guru, we may face many anarthas. If at present we want to follow Christ's orders by accepting him as Jagat Guru, and we think that we do not require an initiating spiritual master, we will certainly, he says certainly, face the doubt about how well we can follow Christ's orders. The Supreme Lord or Universal Jagat Guru delivers his instructions about the absolute truth only through the disciplic succession, which means that the disciplic succession does not stop or pause at any point of time, dear devotees. He says, as I sit on the banks of the Ganges in Navadvip, far from the Himalayas, where the Ganges originates, and I am able to touch her water here, the initiating spiritual master similarly brings the Ganges of pure devotional service, which emanates from the Lord's lotus feet, and places it in my hand and on my head. If the flow of Ganges did not come to me, then because I am an ordinary, powerless, poor person, I would not have been able to climb the Himalayas to touch her water. Or if the flow of the Ganges from the Himalayas was interrupted on the way, if somebody stopped that Guru Parampara, I would have had to face the danger of accepting a polluted flow instead of pure Ganga. Therefore, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, if the instructions Jesus Christ gave 2000 years ago do not come to us through disciplic succession, or if we have to sort them out from books, he specifically says, if we have to sort them out from books, then perhaps we may create a blunder and accept a perversion of the truth taught in the name of Christianity. We may even come to accept something opposite from what he taught, thinking it to be his actual philosophy. Dear devotees, this is the great risk in accepting simply books without the living individual personal guide. So we need individual guidance. We need personal guidance, and this is the clear vision of the previous acharyas. Now, Srila Prabhupada also specifies the same point. Prabhu, kindly read.
Okay, Prabhuji. Suppose if you want to be a medical man, the books are available in the market. You can purchase and read them and become a doctor. Is it possible? Is it possible that simply by reading books, purchasing from the market, I become a medical man? No, that is not possible. You have to learn it from a person who is a medical man. Then you will. You go to the medical college and learn the medical science from the practical medical man, and then you examine. Put yourself in examination. When you pass, this is the way. So any shastra, any book, even in the material world, it is not possible to read oneself and understand the real fact. That is not possible.
Okay, so Srila Prabhupada here very clearly says that just as you can't bring, books for medicine and study at home and then call yourself a doctor, because there is one thing missing. What is missing? You have to put yourself in examination. Let's say I bring today some books from a previous acharya or from any acharya, and I start reading the books and I say, now I will understand the absolute truth like this. Question is, how do we know that the acharya has certified whether we have learned correctly or not? Where is the examination? Or are we supposed to self-certify ourselves after reading the books? Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, in any serious university, is self-certification allowed?
Definitely not.
Definitely not. So the acharya acharya is going to certify a particular person whether they have correctly understood or not. And unless the certification comes directly from the acharya, it is not possible to understand whether I have learned correctly or not learned correctly. Even in the material world, Prabhupada says, so he gives an example. Prabhuji, kindly read.
If you want to learn that spiritual science, then you must approach a bona fide guru. Gurum eva bhagshit. There are many shastric injunctions like that. Tasmad gurum prapadyeta jigasu shreya uttamam. Even if you want to become an ordinary electrician, still you require a teacher. And what to speak of spiritual science? So that is necessary. Tad vijnanartam sagurum eva bhagshit.
So even for simple material knowledge, one requires a teacher. The first thing that students are taught when they go to school is alphabet. Alphabet. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, can a child learn alphabet without the guidance of a living person simply by watching YouTube videos or giving them books?
No, they can't.
Why? What will be the problem if they try learning through YouTube or through books?
They won't be focused. They might think they can make their own letters or change the letters.
Yeah.
There won't be anyone to verify that they've done it right.
Yes. So there is no verification. Therefore, even those individuals who believe that they can learn spiritual science from the books, when they train their children, they send their children to school where living people are teaching them alphabets. So it is important to have a living individual personalized guru to learn that science. It is not simply a matter of reading some books. Another reason is we need tailor-made guidance beyond the books. Not simply what is given in the books, but we need tailor-made guidance beyond the books. Because some individuals think, okay, you say living person is required, so we will go and attend lectures by various good devotees. We will sit in the lectures. So sitting in the lectures is good. But there is one small issue in that. And what is that issue? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was asked, can one do more for people by giving them personal instruction? And here is his answer. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, kindly read his answer.
Okay, Prabhuji. One who gives personal instruction to each and every one does more for others than the platform speakers do. Generally, whatever platform speakers say cannot solve the problems of everyone in the audience, nor can it always benefit every individual. A person's defects are better rectified in a private tutorial class or private coaching than in hearing lectures in a school or a college. Therefore, those who instruct particular persons separately can award them something more permanent.
Yes. So not only do we need a living person, we also need a individual who can guide us personally, tailor-made according to our needs. Not general guidance by sitting in a lecture. Because sitting in a lecture, he says a platform speaker cannot solve the problems of everyone in the audience. See, I also speak, I give lectures where I am the platform speaker and there are 100 people in the audience. And these 100 people have 100 different issues in their lives. And now I am speaking on Bhakti Rasamrita and I give all of them one solution. But it doesn't address the problems of each and everyone. Unless a person approaches individually and speaks of their problem, it is impossible to give them a tailor-made solution. Therefore, not only do we need guidance from a living person, we also need personalized guidance, not guidance which is available in the masses. We need personalized guidance. Ananyam bhajana-vijñam, śuśrūṣayā. So we need to have a personal relationship with that individual who has matched that standard of being ananyam bhajana-vijñam. Then we will be able to advance in our devotional service. Finally, having an individual personal guru who can give tailor-made guidance is also that such guidance is also unconventional when it is needed. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, what is the meaning of unconventional? Can you please tell me?
I guess it's not standardized or pre-packaged.
Okay, wonderful. It is not standardized guidance. That is what we are looking for. Guidance that is beyond the standardized version that is given to everyone. Let me ask you a question, Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu. You are sitting on the Vyasasana in front of 100 people, giving a class in your local temple. After the class, somebody raises his hand and asks you this question. He says, Prabhuji, I am a devotee working on a Varnashram farm. I every day, perform many activities and I serve the cows. And I have a query. My query to you is, because I have a lot of services on the farm and due to this, I am often unable to chant my 16 rounds. Is it okay if I chant less than 16 rounds due to executing my services towards the cow and the farm? You are sitting on the Vyasasana, Prabhu. You have to give a reply. What reply will you give to him?
Well, I would have to think first, because if I give him permission, then I'm giving everyone permission to not chant their rounds and do service instead. And then if I say, well, just chant your rounds and neglect your service, that might be bad advice for him. It's a really awkward position.
Right.
So I'd have to say, let's talk after class.
Oh, so you can't give him any guidance?
I can, but once we're talking one-on-one, yeah.
Oh, so therefore, it is very important to understand. Individuals have problems like these. Let's say, somebody goes to an institutional authority and tells them, I have this problem and please give me a solution. There is no way that an institutional authority will be able to tell them that, okay, you can chant less than 16 rounds. If somebody does that, Dhāmeśvara Prabhu, if let's say on the Vyasasana you say, okay, chant less than 16 rounds, what will happen?
I'll be cancelled.
Yeah, you'll be cancelled immediately. Or you'll be taken to task that how could you, say like this? That too on the Vyasasana. How could you say like this? Believe it or not, Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, there was a disciple of Srila Prabhupada who had this issue. He was working on a farm. He was serving the cows. And there were so many services in New Vrindavan that he was not able to chant his 16 rounds. He once tried approaching Srila Prabhupada in a conversation, but many more devotees were present. He could not get an answer in that public discussion. So he wrote a letter to Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada replied back to him. This is Srila Prabhupada's reply. Prabhuji, kindly read.
As you are an important worker there and you have so many important duties, especially to take care of the cows, it may not be possible for you to stop your work for chanting 16 rounds. This is no great loss, and you should not feel badly about it. Krishna sees your sincerity and Krishna consciousness, and he will be very kind upon you for this. But as much as possible, you should try to fulfill the goal of 16 rounds daily. If you must fall short of this because you have so much service to render to Krishna, do not be disturbed by this. But you should not fall too much short of this goal. That will not be good. Similarly, you must read Bhagavad Gita at least a few verses every day and think about them throughout the day.
Now, this guidance was available to this one devotee. Tomorrow, there may be more devotees like this. Shouldn't they also be able to get the same solution that this particular devotee got from Srila Prabhupada?
If they have a similar circumstances, that would be plausible.
Yes. Unfortunately, nobody has received a single letter from Srila Prabhupada after 1977. Personalized guidance is not possible from books. You need unconventional guidance beyond the books, because the situations in which various devotees are not regular situations. I have just given an example of one situation. There may be hundreds of such situations. There may be a lady who is pregnant and she may have a child who is 1 year old or 2 years old. And she may be in a similar situation. And she may end up asking somebody sitting on the Vyasasan, Prabhu, what should I do? And the person sitting on the Vyasasan cannot give something to that lady. He cannot give unconventional guidance. That is the reason why an individual living personality is needed as a guru. A guru who can think unconventionally. Such a person is needed. Unfortunately, it is not possible within the setting of a big institution. And why is it not possible in the setting of a big institution? Because that is the nature of an institution. I am not singling out any institution here. All institutions fall in the same category. It is not possible to do that in an institutional setting. Why is it not possible? Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur specifies this in his article on Putana. Kindly read, Prabhuji.
They, the organized religions, also unmistakably indicate the end of the absolute and the unconventional guidance of the bona fide spiritual teacher. The people of this world understand preventive systems. They have no idea at all of the unprevented positive eternal life.
So Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur very clearly says that organized religions unmistakably indicate the end of absolute and unconventional guidance of the bona fide spiritual teacher. Which means if you are going for unconventional guidance, if you need unconventional guidance, organized religions will not be able to help you. This is a fact. And I am not singling out any organized religion here. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur is a founder of an organized branch of religion himself. He himself founded the Gaudiya Math. But just because he founded the Gaudiya Math does not mean that he is unaware of the, of the cons, of the negative points of organized religion. He knows what are the shortcomings of organized religion. So we should not be simpletons, and we should not think that, organized religions have all the solutions. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that absolute and unconventional guidance is not possible with organized religions. Therefore, what I am indicating here, and what Srila Rupa Goswami is also indicating here, that when we go for such guidance, we have to drop our institutional considerations, dear devotees. Such an individual, when they guide us, they are guiding us according to our need and positions. And therefore, we should be willing to accept such guidance from such an individual. Today, for one devotee, we know one devotee, Srila Prabhupada said, okay, because of your services, even if sometimes you're not able to chant 16, you can, still it is not a big loss for you. But you cannot take this letter and make it a standard for all the devotees. Why? Because organized religion will not allow it. But personalized guidance will always allow it. A guru who can tell the disciple and who can give the disciple unconventional guidance regarding spiritual life is the one who is needed by the disciple. And that is the guru whom we are supposed to seek out. In short, the type of guidance that is needed is from a living individual. Because we have to ask the question, what can I get from that person that I cannot get by reading a book? Second is, such guidance should be personalized and tailor-made. And third is, it should be unconventional, not at every point, but when needed. Such guidance should also be unconventional. When we have such a guru, then we know that we have found a person who is capable of helping us advance towards the path of bhakti. Now, when we find such a personality, finally, when we manage to find such a personality, we are supposed to treat them in a specific way. First and foremost, it will not be easy to find such a person because such people are not available easily. Even if they are available, why should they open up to us? We have not done anything so that they will open up to us. So they are not obliged to open up to us and to solve our problems. We have to do something in order to make this personality comfortable towards us. What do we have to do? We have to perform certain seva for them. We have to give them some adar, some respect. And this is demonstrated by the sages of Naimisharanya when they invited Suta Goswami to speak to them. Suta Goswami was an expert in the Puranas, especially in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Shaunak, etc., were expert in the Vedas. Shaunak Rishi is Bahuricha. He is expert in Rig Veda. But he wants to know the secrets of Srimad Bhagavatam. So Dhāmeśvara Prabhu, can't Shaunak Rishi take the book Srimad Bhagavatam and read it?
He could, but he wouldn't get the full rasa.
Okay. So Shaunak Rishi knows grammar. Shaunak Rishi is able to understand the words. But it is not mere lexicographical understanding of words that is needed here. It's not dictionary understanding of the words that is needed here. When Suta Goswami came, he knew that Suta Goswami was personally instructed by Vyasadeva in Srimad Bhagavatam. And Suta Goswami had learnt all the secrets from his gurus, all the hidden meanings, the undercurrents of meanings that are going in Srimad Bhagavatam, Suta Goswami had understood. Therefore, Suta Goswami by birth is lower. Suta by birth is born from a Kshatriya father and Brahmana mother. So he is lower in the Varnashram system. And Shaunak Bahvricha is a Brahmana. He is born from a Brahmana mother and Brahmana father. But Shaunak Rishi ensures that Suta Goswami sits above. Shaunak Rishi sits below. And Shaunak Rishi sits below and gives immense respect to Suta Goswami, who by birth is lower than Shaunak Rishi. Because he knows that for understanding Bhagavatam, this is the person who knows the secrets. And dropping all considerations of institution, because in his time, the institution is Varnashram. Shaunak Rishi's institution is Varnashram. Dropping all considerations of institution, Shaunak Rishi says to him, it is described in the Bhagavatam, Ta ekada tu munayah pratar huta hutagnayah satkritam sutamasinam paprachur idam adarat. One day, after finishing their morning duties by burning a sacrificial fire and satkritam, offering a seat of esteem to Sri Suta Goswami, the great sages made inquiries adarat, with great respect, about the following matters. Adarat, they gave respect to them. Often this tendency is missing. Sometimes we go to a person simply to check them out. Is he giving that answer which I want? If not, I'll reject him. So better not to go to such a person. Why go to somebody in order to falsely test them? You can hear a person neutrally After some time, if you are convinced that this person knows what the devotional shastra is, then you can approach them and give them respect. Sometimes individuals are approaching people for guidance, but they have in their mind some hidden envy. So why approach in the first? Better not to approach. Better to approach somebody in whom we have shraddha, in whom we have faith that this person will correctly guide me. So when Shaunak Rishi approached Suta Goswami, it was not to test him. Now I will test him with 10 questions. And if he is not able to give the correct answer, then we will cancel him. This is unfortunate. This unfortunate mindset was not present in Shaunak Rishi. Secondly, what happened after that? What he said to Suta Goswami. Vethatvam saumya tat sarvam tatvatastadanugrahat bruyuhu snigdhasya shishyasya guravo guhyam apyuta. And because you are submissive, your spiritual masters have endowed you with all the favors, secrets. Prabhupada says in word for word, guhyam means secrets, bestowed upon a gentle disciple. Therefore, you can tell us all that you have scientifically learned from them. Because we not only want a dictionary understanding of Srimad Bhagavatam that we can have by reading the books, we want the undercurrents of meanings. And that is not possible simply by reading the books. In Sanskrit, it is called Abhidhavritti and Vyanjanavritti. Abhidhavritti is the direct meaning of the words. Let's say I take the books of Srila Prabhupada and I read. I am understanding Abhidhavritti, the direct meaning of the words. But there is something Vyanjanavritti, the implied meanings, the undercurrents of meanings, which I will not be able to understand because Srila Prabhupada has given his direct words. In order to understand the undercurrents of the meanings, I will have to approach a person who is in disciplic succession and who is Uttama Adhikari. So therefore, when we find such a person, we should treat them nicely, satkar. We should give them respect, and then we should inquire from them submissively. Such people are not looking for our wealth. Such people are not, they cannot be purchased by our wealth. What they are looking for is a candidate who is deserving to understand the truth. And if we are deserving, then they will explain to us. And if we are not deserving, then we may experience vanchana. Vanchana means they may end up cheating us. They may say, oh, you are good. You already are well situated in spiritual life. You don't need so much guidance. And then you understand that we have been cheated. Vanchitam. We could not treat such a person nicely. And because we did not treat such a person nicely, therefore they did not open the secrets of Vedic literature in front of us. So first and foremost, it is very difficult to find such a personality. And when we find such a personality, we should ensure that we treat them well and we do not disrespect them. Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur therefore says such Shiksha Gurus have greater importance because sometimes a person takes Diksha and the Diksha Guru gives the mantra and gives initial instructions about Krishna consciousness. But in some cases, the Diksha Guru is not able to give advanced instructions about Bhakti. That is where the role of the Shiksha Guru becomes very prominent. And Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur's own life, it so happened that his Diksha Guru, Shri Bipin Bihari Goswami, very respected person, and he gave initial guidance to Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur. But Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur felt a little dissatisfaction in his relationship with his Diksha Guru. So he approached his Shiksha Guru. And who was the Shiksha Guru of Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur? Sri Jagannath Das Babaji. And therefore Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur later wrote in his songbook Kalyan Kalpataru. He said, Diksha Guru Kripa Kari Mantra Upadesha Kariya Dekhaya Krishna Tatvera Nirdesha. Diksha Guru Kripa Kari. The Diksha Guru definitely bestows mercy in form of giving the mantra and while instructing in general about Krishna Tattva. Now sometimes the Diksha Guru becomes Shiksha Guru. That is very nice. But sometimes you have to seek out Shiksha Guru separately because you may not be able to get advanced teachings from the Diksha Guru. And therefore Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur says, Shiksha Guru Vrinda Kripa Kariya Apara Sadhake shikhaya sadha nera anga sara. But the various Shiksha Gurus bestow boundless mercy. See, above Diksha Guru Kripa Kari, and below he says the Shiksha Guru Kripa Kari apar. Boundless mercy is given by Shiksha Guru. Why? Because by teaching the sadhaka about the essence of the limbs of sadhan bhakti, they are the ones who teach the entire science of bhakti to the sadhaka. They are the ones who give time to the sadhaka. They are the ones who give individual guidance, personalized guidance, tailor-made solutions, unconventional guidance when needed. Therefore, whom should be given importance in one's spiritual life? Ideally, the Diksha Guru. If he gives Shiksha, then you have to devote yourself to one person. You don't have, you can devote yourself to that one person who gave you Diksha and Shiksha. Wonderful. But if these two people are separate, distinct individuals, Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur then says, Shiksha Guru Ganapade Kariya Pranati Upadeshamala Bali Nijamana Prati. Thus, I, having paid my obeisances at the feet of my Shiksha Gurus, I speak these instructions to my own mind. Dear devotees, that individual who gives his sweat and blood to nurture us in our bhakti, that individual who gives his time, that individual who solves our doubts, that individual who gives personalized solutions, that individual who illuminates the path, that individual is the person whom Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur considers to be much more important in the life of the sadhaka. In our Guru Parampara given in Bhagavad Gita as it is, the connection is mainly through Shiksha. Therefore, after Srila Baldev Vidya Bhushan, you see Sri Jagannath Das Babaji. After Sri Jagannath Das Babaji, you see Srila Bhakti Vinod Thakur Mahashay. After Sri Bhakti Vinod Thakur Mahashay, you see Sri Gaur Kishore Das Babaji. Although there is no Diksha connection between these individuals, there is Shiksha connection. There is a huge, there is a lot of importance of Shiksha in the Sampradaya. Therefore, we should ensure that when we find such a Shiksha Guru, that Shiksha Guru is given that level of importance in our spiritual life, dear devotees. Because sometimes we find such a Shiksha Guru, but we don't give them that importance. Sometimes we think, now we have Diksha. Now Diksha Guru and me, we have a contract. He has given me mantra. I have promised him 4 plus 16, 4 regulative principles and 16 rounds. Now at the end of my life, Diksha Guru will take me back home, back to Godhead. So Dhāmeśvara Prabhu, I would like to ask you a question. During initiation, the disciple takes vows. Does the Guru take any vow?
Not usually.
No.
I have heard it once.
So the Guru is not expected to take any vow. The vows are taken by the disciple. And it is upon the advancement of the disciple that the disciple will be delivered. It is not a contract that the Diksha Guru has to take you back home, back to Godhead. No. If the disciple doesn't learn properly, if the disciple is not cleared of anarthas, if the disciple does not attain Krishna Prem, then the Diksha Guru cannot force the disciple to go back home, back to Godhead. So who will teach all these things to the disciple? Ideally, the Diksha Guru, if the Diksha Guru has time, they should teach. The Diksha Guru doesn't have that time or is not located in the same place, then the Diksha Guru gives permission, okay, take Shiksha. The disciple should understand the person who is giving me Shiksha has much more relevance and importance in my spiritual life. Please try to understand, dear devotees, the importance of Shiksha Guru. Because sometimes in the Vaishnava society, because Shiksha Guru is not an official designation in the Vaishnava society. Therefore, these individuals who act as our Shiksha Gurus are trivialized immensely. And therefore, it is important to understand which individuals helped us in getting Shiksha and to recognize them. So this, dear devotees, is very important. Now, how do we know that we have found such a Shiksha Guru? Very simple. Sri Jiva Goswami says, now we are nearing the end of the presentation. How do we know that we have found such a Shiksha Guru, such a person? What is the immediate symptom? He says, Shravana Guru samsargena eva shastriya vijnana utpatti syat na anyatha. Simply by contact with such a Guru, one begins to understand Vigyan, Bhakti Vigyan, science pertaining to the devotional Shastras. Developing such a mindset is not possible otherwise in any way whatsoever. It is not possible to understand the science of devotional service in any other way. By reading books through oneself, it is simply not possible. Only by contact with such a guru, one begins understanding that actually the book behind the books, there is a big science. Otherwise, it is simply, big information in front of, big pile of information, cartload of books in front of us. But we are not able to find out that there is a big science behind those books. So behind the cartload of books, there is a big science, and there is somebody who points out how to, recognize that science and how to understand that science. Simply by contact with such a guru, one begins to understand the science pertaining to Shastras. When the first Indologists came to India, one of the first Indologists who came to India was Sir William Jones, and they wanted to translate the Vedas into English. So William Jones approached the local Pandits and said, I want to translate the Vedas. The Pandit said, you have to first understand the language of the Vedas. What is the language? Sanskrit. How do you understand that? By learning grammar. How do I learn Sanskrit grammar? There is Panini's book, Ashtadhyayi. So you can learn. So William Jones took the book himself and tried to learn Panini's grammar by studying the book. And then there are sutras. Ayun, Rilik, Aong, Ayouch, Ayavarat, Lan, Nyamangananam, Jabhai, Gadhadash, Jabagadadash, Kapha, Chatata, Chatatav, Kapai, Shashasar, Al. William Jones wrote next day, Panini's grammar is the darkest of the dark oracle that I have ever seen in my life. There is a statement by William Jones. Panini's grammar is the darkest of the dark oracles that I have seen in my life. So, because in order to enter into grammar, you cannot enter unless you have a living person guiding you. It is not possible to enter. So these sutras which I spoke, these are Maheshwar sutras, they are the initial sutras of Panini's grammar. So these sutras are required to be memorized before one starts learning grammar. As soon as one comes in contact with a living person who has understood the science, we will also start understanding the science, and it will all start making sense to us. Therefore, Sri Jiva Goswami quotes a verse to prove this. Acharyo raniradhyasya dante vasyuttararani tatsandhanam pravachanam vidya sandhi sukhavah. The spiritual preceptor, the Shiksha Guru, is the supporting lower piece of wood. The pupil is the supported upper piece of wood. Instruction in Vedic science is the process of friction, and the result is the fire of knowledge that brings happiness to both the Guru and the disciple. See, dear devotees, when you produce fire, traditionally, this is how you produce. The lower arani, you can see the lower piece of wood here. That is the Guru. The upper piece of wood, which takes all the effort, is the disciple. And the friction is the imparting of Vedic knowledge. And the fire which is produced is, that transcendental bhajana-vijñam. This, dear devotees, is required. And this is very much needed in order to advance in our devotional service. So, dear devotees, with this, we should understand that one should respect this bhajan guru. Tatra bhagavatan dharman shikshet guruvatma daivatah amayayanu stusyet atmatma dohari. By considering the guru to be as dear as one's own self, and by considering him as one's worshipable deity, a sadhaka should learn about the genuine principles of Bhagavad Dharma. The sadhaka should do so while serving the guru in amayaya, in completely non-duplicitous manner, and anuvritya, and in devoted manner. In this way, Tushyed, the Supreme Lord, the soul of the universe, becomes pleased and bestows self-realization upon the sadhaka. If we are going to approach such a person, we should not approach with a duplicitous mindset. Better not to approach. Better spare him the trouble, spare yourself the trouble. If we don't have a proper mindset. But if at all we are going to approach such a person, amayaya anuvritya. Amayaya means approach with a non-duplicitous mind. And anuvritya, be prepared to show some devotion. Be prepared to show some submissiveness. Not with an aim, I will test him. whether he gives the correct answer. So with this mindset, we are not supposed to approach the Guru. The Guru is supposed to test us. The Guru is supposed to see whether the disciple is fit or not. If the disciple starts testing the Guru, the Ganga will flow in the opposite direction. The Ganga has to flow from north to south, not south to north. It is the Guru who tests the disciple, because there is one reason why. Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, this is a final question. Between Guru and disciple, the initiation takes place between Guru and disciple. All the benefits of the initiation come to whom?
The disciple.
What is the benefit for the Guru?
There's no benefit for the Guru.
Therefore, the disciple is supposed to submit. In the entire process of initiation, the Guru actually ends up taking the negative reactions of the disciple. Therefore, the disciple should submit. Therefore, the disciple should be humble in front. Why should the disciple be humble in front of the Guru? Because in the process of initiation, the Guru has nothing to gain. The Guru only has something to lose. And the disciple has everything to gain in the entire process. Therefore, amayaya anuvritya. When we find such a Guru, serve them amayaya, non-duplicitous manner, and anuvritya, devoted manner. Tushyed atmatma dohari. So Hari will also be happy, Guru will also be happy, and we will be happy because we will end up learning bhajan-vijñam, the science of devotional service. With this, dear devotees, I'll pause my speech. Yadatra skalitam kinchit vidvamsah purayantu tat. Yadatra saushthavam kinchit tad guroreva menam. Yadatra skalitam kinchit. If I made a mistake, vidvamsah, you are all learned devotees, purayantu tat. Please correct any mistakes. But yadatra saushthavam kinchit. If there's anything nice, dear devotees, please remember tad guroreva. It belongs to my Gurujanas. Me nahi. It doesn't belong to me. Thank you very much, dear devotees. Thank you, Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu, for being such a nice and kind host. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Rupa Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada ki jai, Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
Thank you so much, Hari Parsha Prabhu, for another beautiful presentation. My heart's filled with joy to hear your auspicious voice again, even though I'm missing your association in person. We'll go to questions and answers now. We just have a couple requests or conditions for questions. One is to focus on the presentation today, not bringing up questions about other books or classes that were unrelated, but we just want to focus on today. And the second one is leave time for other people. So try to keep it short. If you have several questions or one question that has many parts, then we request you to just break it up and just do your initial question and then leave time for someone else. And we'll try to get back to you at the end if there's time. So with that, I'll start calling on people. And first we have Jai Dwarka Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji.
My
First of all,
pranams.
thank you so much for restarting these sessions again. We have been waiting since long time for the performance. So thank you so much for restarting this. Prabhuji, I had a question from this last question, which explained the importance of Shiksha Guru in our life. So
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I would just like to know about your opinion regarding the courses which goes on in our organization, just like Bhakti Vaibhav and Bhakti Shastri, and in those courses generally we get to learn from those devotees which are assigned by the institution only. Even many times we do not know anything about the devotee. And do such devotee can such devotees be counted as Shiksha Guru because they do not know anything about our anarthas also, although they teach us, but they are not so fit for giving us tailor-made solutions. And in case if we look for such a person, then we will have to go away from the Guru Datta Vesh, because such devotees, because to learn from such devotee personally, we have to be with them. So then we have to leave Guru Datta Vesh. So what is your opinion about these courses? And if we go to such Shiksha Guru, then we have to leave Guru Datta Vesh. Then how to balance this?
So in courses like this, therefore the individual who is presenting is not known as Shiksha Guru, they are called as facilitator. So in all these courses, you will see that the individual who is teaching, they are not taught, they don't take the designation of Acharya or Guru or Shiksha Guru. The designation that is given to them is facilitator. You can see any of the courses. So they are facilitator. And that is your relationship with the individual who's teaching the course. They are supposed to facilitate you in understanding a particular literature. Now the person who facilitates your entire bhajan, not just one book, that person is your Shiksha Guru, and you approach the Shiksha Guru voluntarily. How do we know this? Because the praman which I gave, tad vijnanartham sa gurum evabhigachet. Sa abhigachet. You should approach voluntarily. So sa abhigachet means the volition is yours. The volition cannot be produced by somebody else. So therefore, according to your volition, you are approaching a particular personality when you are convinced about that personality. So that is your, according to your volition, you approach. And that person you can call a Shiksha Guru. And that you don't even have to advertise that this person is my Shiksha Guru. That is between you and the Guru you have chosen. So you don't, it's not even an official designation, and an official designation is not needed for such a relationship. It's an informal relationship. So it is best to keep this relationship as informal as possible. Because I told you, I showed you the quote from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Organized religions often indicate the end of unconventional guidance. And that statement was made by him. It's a very bold statement and a very direct statement. But a statement from our previous Acharya, that organized religion equal to end of unconventional guidance. So if you want unconventional guidance, you have to look, although you may be a member of an organized religion, but you, within that organized religion, you have to look for pockets in which you can get individual, personalized, tailor-made guidance. So I hope this answer satisfies your query.
Then we have to leave the Guru Datta Desh many times to get such person.
Okay.
What
So
about that?
yeah. Okay. So yeah, that was also a part of the question. So we may have to leave our Guru Datta Desh in order to contact such a person. If there is fire in our stomach that we want to, really get guidance from this person, then we can take permission from our Guru that for learning this and this, I have to go there, I have to go here, go there. And by taking permission of the Guru, we can, approach whomsoever we want to get Shiksha from. It depends on how eager we are to learn. So if that is, and this can be, on an individual basis. From individual to individual, the circumstances are different. But if this is the case with us, we can approach, the Diksha Guru and ask. And as Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu said, Diksha Guru can also give Shiksha. That would be the most ideal thing. The most ideal thing is to get that Shiksha directly from the Diksha Guru. In case it is not possible, then to take permission from Diksha Guru and then approach the Shiksha Guru. That is the standard Vaishnava etiquette. All right.
So next we have Omkar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Mm-hmm.
I hope, Prabhu, your health is good now.
Yeah.
Prabhuji, I had a question. While translating the Ananya bhajana-vijñam, you translated it as Uttama Adhikari. But as we know that this terminology is used in the Adhikara Prakaran, like who is qualified to do bhajan. But in types of devotees, we have Uttam Bhakta, Madhyam Bhakta, and Kanishta Bhakta. So why did not you translate it as Uttam Bhagavachari?
Okay, why did I not translate it as Uttam Bhagavat, Madhyam Bhagavat, Kanishta Bhagavat? And why did I translate as Uttam Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, Kanishta Adhikari?
Yes, Prabhu.
The term is bhajana-vijñam. What is the meaning of bhajana-vijñam?
Yes, the one who knows the science of devotion and who is practicing it.
Okay. Literal meaning is bhajana-vijña. Vijña means one who understands the Vijnan, the science of bhajan or bhakti. Now, who understands the science of bhakti? The person who according to Sri Rupa Goswami, according to his own terminology, all devotees are categorized into 3 types. His own terminology in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is not of Kanishta Bhagavat, Madhyam Bhagavat, Uttam Bhagavat. His own terminology in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu is Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyam Adhikari, Uttam Adhikari. So, therefore I said, since I am commenting on a literature by Rupa Goswami, I have to take the definition of Rupa Goswami. Therefore, I took the definition of Rupa Goswami. Bhajana-vijñam, he should know the science. How will he know the science? He will know the science from learning from the place where the science is described. Where is the science described?
In Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, etc.
In the literature. Obviously, Rupa Goswami's definition is consistent with his understanding of Bhajana-vijñam. Alright, so that is the answer to your query. I hope that satisfies your query.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Next we have Shastra Sara Prada Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Haribol.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. I had a question about in the beginning of the class you were mentioning about how only someone who is disgusted with their state as a Kanishta Adhikari will ever have any sort of interest in studying Shastra properly.
No. This was quoted from Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. I specified the purport where he is quoted there. He says that unless one is dissatisfied, disgusted with his situation as a Kanishta Adhikari, he'll never begin that process of advancement and never begin seeking out the Madhyama and Uttama Adhikaris. So one begins seeking out a Madhyama or Uttama Adhikari only when they are dissatisfied with their current position as Kanishta. That is what was said.
Okay, Prabhu. The quick thing I wanted to ask about in the practical sense is that operating within a large institution, naturally we see a very wide variety in terms of mood when it comes to approaching Shastra. And oftentimes the value of Shastra is seen in the practical, everyone who studies Shastra understands the practical value that one experiences in their own bhajan from proper study of it. But at the same time, like in this case, only such a person with the resulting drive, I guess you could say, that comes from such study of Shastra will ever want to approach a Shiksha Guru and take these steps to advancing properly. But at the same time, we find such knowledge in the books itself. So when it comes to a devotee themselves, I guess developing when it comes to that fortunate individual developing that fire in their stomach, how does one go about, I guess, spreading that fire or explaining the importance of Shastra to a very wide audience that might not understand it immediately?
You don't have to explain to a wide audience. Why are we always bothered about giving everything to a wide audience? Everything is not meant for a wide audience. Krishneti yasya giritam manasa adriyeta. Those who are chanting Krishna's names, honor them in your mind. Dikshasti chet, many have taken initiation, offer them pranaams. Very few amongst them will be bhajana-vijñam. And we don't have to mass produce bhajana-vijñas. And nowhere was it specified that we have to mass produce bhajana-vijñas. See, our mindset has changed after industrial revolution. As soon as we find something nice, we have to mass produce it. So this mindset is a reflective of industrial revolution. Why do we have to mass produce it? Let good things be rare. Let good things be rare, because not everyone appreciates good things. Let good things be rare, because if bhajana-vijñas become commonly available on the streets, people will not value bhajana-vijñas. People will not cry for bhajana-vijñas. People will not hanker for bhajana-vijñas. We don't want to force people to become Madhyama or Uttama Adhikaris. We want the fire to come from within them. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said, when one becomes naturally disgusted, that is when they seek out. We don't have to make them feel disgusted with their position as Kanishta Adhikaris. Let them become naturally disgusted with their position as Kanishta Adhikaris. It may take 20 years. Very good. Let them take 20 years to become naturally disgusted with their current position. Time is a good teacher. Shastra Sar Pradap Prabhu is a very good teacher. Let them take 20 years, because after 20 years, that fire will be really burning in their heart. Oh, 20 years have passed, I did not do anything in my bhajan. Instead of you taking the horse to drink the water, let the horse seek out the water himself. So better to give them time, better to let them develop that fire within themselves. We don't have to spread this to, this message was not meant to be spread like a wildfire to everyone. It was meant for a select few who understand the value of bhajan. So Upadeshamritam starts with a very general set of instructions for a wide audience. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, please specify, please clarify.
Sorry, Prabhu. I didn't mean in the sense of mass production of bhajana-vijñas. I meant in the sense that oftentimes they're very, very sincere devotees that are seeking the sort of thing, but due to not, I don't mean to say lack of availability, but in the sense of the norm that is there in terms of approaching advancement in bhajan, or people who seek advancement in bhajan but don't know how to make advancement because that information is there in the Bhakti Shastri itself. Because they don't have like a roadmap in front of them. They don't know where they're going yet. How it's almost like a kind of like, it's kind of sad to see that someone like that does not have, is not like fully able to realize their potential in a sense.
Of course, therefore Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur says, if one is fortunate, it is also a matter of being fortunate from previous lifetimes. It's not simply, something within our own hands. It is a matter of also being fortunate. Therefore, the sad news is not everyone will have the attitude or the required knowledge to approach such a guru. But the good news is, those who have that required devotional piety, those who have gone through that acquisition of devotional piety from previous lives and this life, they will definitely be able to approach and understand the entire science. That samskars are required. Shri Narad Muni, in his previous life, nobody taught him how to treat the Bhakti Vedantas. Nobody taught him. How did Narad Muni learn how to treat the Bhakti Vedantas? Dhāmeśvara Prabhu, did anybody teach Narad Muni in his previous life how to treat the Bhakti Vedantas? You're muted.
Maybe his mother set an example, but no one formally taught him.
No formally taught, no formal education. It was only Sukriti, Bhajan Sukriti, Bhakti Sukriti from previous lives that brought him to the point of having natural faith and natural good attitude towards the Bhakti Vedantas. Therefore, we are saying, Mahaprasade Govinde Nam Brahmani Vaishnave, even towards the Vaishnavas. Swalpa Punya Vatam Rajan, those who have little devotional piety, Vishwaso Naiva Jayate, they can't easily put faith. And therefore, time is a good teacher. Therefore, it is sad, I agree with you, that many people don't have the information, they don't have the etiquette, it's sad. But therefore, Manushyanam Sahasreshu Kaschid Yatati Siddhaye Yatatam Api Siddhanam Kaschin Mam Vitti Tatvata. Amongst thousands of people, only one will qualify. Therefore, one of the 6 characteristics of Uttama Bhakti is Sudurlabha, very rarely attained. So, I hope that clarifies the questions somehow.
Thank you so much, Prabhu.
Thank you.
Next we have Vishwadeep Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, Vandavatanam. Really blissful to hear the class after so many days. I have a question that when we, by our fortune, being fortunate, we get a Shiksha Guru, and we resolve our doubts, and we also get all the doubt resolved. And some books also, there are many books. So some books they may teach us personally, but there in our only Gaudiya Vaishnava tradition only there are ocean of books. Now when we have to read it ourselves also, and reading so many books, no one is going to give a certificate that yes, we have understand the author, the writer in correct manner. So how we will understand that we have really understand a book properly, as we cannot ask about every book, every line, or every topic to
Right.
our Shiksha Gurus
Right.
or Diksha Guru.
Right. So, besides getting knowledge from the Shiksha Guru, who sometimes may be the Diksha Guru, but sometimes a separate person is Shiksha Guru. Besides getting that devotional knowledge from the Shiksha Guru, Swadhyaya or self-study also helps to a lot of degree. There is a verse in the Mahabharata which I might have previously shown. 1/4 is acquired by self-study,
Yes.
1/4 is acquired from the Guru, 1/4 is acquired with the passage of time, and 1/4 is acquired by discussion with other Vaishnavas. So, but that 1/4 which comes from the Guru is of prime importance. And in that, Guru may teach some literature. But the main thing there is, did we serve an Uttama Adhikari? Because there are many who are eager to declare themselves as self-certified experts. But they have not rendered seva to a Vaishnava. And because they have not rendered seva to a Vaishnava, their self-certification in Shastra is simply for self-aggrandizement. A person should first spend some time, sacrifice. Have you sacrificed something for an Uttama Adhikari? That is shown. So that is shown by the time that we give, the effort that we give in serving an Uttama Adhikari. Otherwise, from day one, you can start learning the books and hearing lectures from different devotees. After some time, you will have a mass of information. And if you're a good speaker, then you start speaking. And then few days, Vishwadi Prabhu becomes like the #1 speaker on planet Earth, who knows a lot of Shastra. Wonderful. But has Vishwadi Prabhu ever sacrificed his time and efforts for an Uttama Adhikari? Has he learned to serve somebody? Because today there are many courses in teaching people how to become leaders. We also need a course in teaching people how to become a servant of an Uttama Adhikari. Leadership is good. Who will teach servanthood? So it is very important to serve an Uttama Adhikari. So, all today's management is all about leadership. If everybody will become a leader, who will become a servant? So, those who don't read our management books, they'll become servants. No, that is not the answer. The answer is there is a culture of service. The culture of service is a person can only become a leader when they learn to serve an Uttama Adhikari. They learn to sacrifice. They learn to prioritize the needs of the Uttama Adhikari before their own needs. You before me. That attitude is what is needed in order to get knowledge. Without that sacrifice, it will not be possible to get that, to get the essence of that Vedic, to get the undercurrents of those Vedic literature. Right? So I hope this satisfies your query to some extent.
Next we have Bhavya Bhagavan Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble obeisances, Prabhu. Prabhu, firstly, thank you for comprehensively explaining the meaning of śuśrūṣayā. That was really important, Prabhu, for me to understand personally. Prabhuji, so I have this doubt. Like we hear, from so many devotees that they say, in order to recognize a pure devotee, one must himself be a pure devotee, Prabhu. So how do we understand this statement, Prabhuji?
In order to understand a pure devotee, one must oneself be a pure devotee.
Yeah, to recognize a pure devotee.
This is good. And at the same time, one can also recognize a pure devotee if Bhagavan reveals the pure devotee to us. We may not be a pure devotee, but if Bhagavan decides to reveal a pure devotee to us, then even though we are not by ourselves a pure devotee, we may still be able to find a pure devotee. Let me specify something from Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur was asked a question about how will I find a bona fide, pure devotee as a guru. I will share the screen with you and you can kindly read some lines from it, Prabhuji. Can you see the screen?
Yes, yes. Should I read
Please.
through?
Yeah, please read the question.
Yeah. How will I find a bona fide guru? The Supreme Lord acts as a guru in two ways. As the Chaitya Guru within the heart. Okay, I should read the yellow part.
No. Please read. Please read normally.
Okay. Yeah. The Supreme Lord acts as a guru in two ways. As the Chaitya Guru within the heart and externally as the Mahant Guru or pure devotee. If I am sincere, then the Lord reveals the Mahant Guru to me.
Yes.
You can go
so,
to a house.
So if I am sincere, then who will reveal?
The Chaitya Guru.
Yes. So it is not that only a pure devotee can understand who is a pure devotee. Any ignorant person can also understand who is a pure devotee, provided Bhagwan decides to reveal the pure devotee to a certain person. Now please read ahead.
Yeah. We can go to 1,000 different people with a petition in hand. But until the one person who can approve our application approves it, we get nowhere. The Supreme Lord is that person. Why he does or does not approve our request is something we cannot fathom. He is not a field laborer working in our personal garden. We have to be patient and wait. In the meantime, we should prepare ourselves by cultivating a service attitude and trying to eliminate extraneous desires.
Yes. So this is what is needed. He is not a, in Hindi say bagiche ka mali nahi hai. That's what he's trying to say. He is not a field laborer in our personal garden. We have to be patient and wait. And why he is not approving it, is something we cannot understand. We should prepare ourselves by having that service attitude. This is what I was saying to Vishwadeep Prabhu. Unless we learn how to serve an Uttama Adhikari, it is not possible to advance. I have been saying this repeatedly. There are many people who become leaders. But if you want to train yourself under a Vaishnava, the characteristic of a Vaishnava is you see if they have served another Vaishnava, if they have gone under the rigorous service of another Vaishnava. See if that person is a very ideal teacher. Because self-declared teachers, there are many. I know I am a teacher because I know how to speak nicely. I am a teacher because I mugged up so much Shastra. The main criteria is, did somebody serve an Uttama Adhikari themselves? Then they have passed the test. And then
But
Krishna
Prabhuji,
has, yeah.
But like in our institution, people can say, we all are serving Prabhupada in his movement. So we are serving Prabhupada. So that way they can claim.
Did you get a letter from Prabhupada detailing your exact seva?
No.
Therefore, I am telling you. After 1977, nobody got a personal letter from Srila Prabhupada. Not a single individual got a personal letter from Srila Prabhupada. All the memories of Srila Prabhupada stop at 1977. Why?
Because Prabhupada left this planet.
Obviously. So we should not cheat ourselves by calling any service as service to the Acharya. We should know which service the Acharya has designated for us, and for that we have to approach a living personality. Therefore, I said very clearly, by taking any service as an, we call it Aropit Seva. We allegedly say that this is service of the Acharya. Okay, it may be service to the Acharya, but what service does the Acharya want from us? In order to understand that, we have to approach the living Guru Parampara. That is the very clear message of all the previous Acharyas. All right?
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Next, Prabhuji, I have a question.
Yeah.
When you're developing a relationship with someone and you're beginning to see him as Shiksha Guru and having that feeling in your heart of faith and respect and a desire to hear from them, desire to serve them, should you formally go to that person and ask them to be your Shiksha Guru?
It is important to go to such a person and say that they have been of immense importance in our lives. It is important to go and acknowledge to them that they have been of immense importance in our lives and that we have benefited immensely from them. And then we should say that I would like to cultivate an informal relationship of Shiksha. Because sometimes we try to formalize that relationship. The relationship is not meant to be formal. The Shiksha relationship is ideally meant to be informal. So I'd like to have an informal relationship. And we should only say that when we are fully convinced that this person will guide us correctly. And then we approach such a person and say, I would like to have an informal relationship of Shiksha with you. And what I am seeking is personalized, individual, and unconventional guidance. And I have some issues in my life, and this is what I am looking for. And then the Shiksha Guru, if they are pleased with our attitude, if we have rendered some seva unto them, if they are pleased with our attitude, then they will definitely open the gates of the secrets of the devotional literature for us. Tad vidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. One Vaishnava gave a very good example of this. Pranipat, obeisances, pariprashna, inquiry, and seva. Like one Vaishnava gave an example of how Shri Hanuman met Shri Ram for the first time. This was in Rishyamukh Parvat when he was a servant of Sugriv. And Hanuman disguised himself and approached Ram in order to check if he is a spy or not, if he is a spy of Bali or not. So first, Shri Hanuman, as a disguised Brahmana, did pranipat. He first offered obeisances. And then he asked some questions. Pariprashna, who are you? Where have you come from? What is your purpose? And as soon as he knew that this is my master life after life, immediately sevaya. He took to service of Shri Ram. So that verse is personified in Shri Hanuman. Sadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. So we should have that attitude. And if in our mind there is even a small tendency, I want to check him out first, then let's take our time first before we approach that person. Let's take our time and check, if this person is the most ideal person. And if we don't feel that this is the most ideal person, somebody else is better, then we should approach that other person. Because, why spoil our time and somebody else's time? So that is what only when we are convinced should we approach such a person. Seek out an informal relationship, unconventional, personalized, individual guidance beyond the books. That is what we need. So I hope that satisfies your query.
Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you.
We got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more questions.
So... Sure. Wonderful. No problem.
All right. Shyamachandra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji, Pranam.
Pranam.
So my question is that when one accepts a Shiksha Guru, and if he happens to be a disciple of a different Guru, then sometimes a person may feel that he is no longer like loyal to his own Diksha Guru, and especially if there is a difference of opinion on certain things between a Shiksha and Diksha Guru, it may become a little more complicated. So how do one reconcile one's feelings of loyalty to one's Diksha Guru? And in case of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, is there any record that of Vipin Bihari Goswami giving permission for to accept Jagannath Das Babaji as a Shiksha Guru, so that the loyalty is still intact?
Okay, so the standard is that after one has a Shiksha Guru, one should approach the Diksha Guru, and one should bring all the teachings of the Shiksha Guru back to the Diksha Guru. That is the standard in the Vaishnava Shastras, that is given in Krishna Bhajana-Amritam. In Krishna Bhajana-Amritam, Shri Narhari Sarkar, he specifies this, and I will pull out this reference once again, because this is a very important reference of how to deal with Vaishnavas in the society. So I am sharing my screen. In Shri Krishna Bhajanamritam, Shri Narhari Sarkar says, Tatra Diksha Guruvah Shiksha Guruvascha Visheshatah Santi. There are two special personalities in one's life, Diksha Guru and Shiksha Guru. Tayoreva Karyam. They should be, their orders should be carried out and they should be respected very much. Yadi Tav Alpa Balav. If both Diksha or one Shiksha Gurus are of less strength, Tathapi Anya Mahatam Mukhat Shiksha Vishesham Gyatvapi, then you can hear from other great devotees, and after knowing that, Gurave Deyam, bring back to your gurus. Tadeva Gurushu Pathaniyam Natu Gurav Hela Kartavya. And study the same Siddhanta from the Guru after bringing it back to the Guru, and don't neglect the Guru. So sometimes we may hear from some person who is initiated by somebody else and they may give a Shiksha. We should bring it back to our Diksha Guru and hear that particular Siddhanta from him again. And if they want to make some adjustments to that Siddhanta, they'll let us know. And if the Diksha Guru is so busy that they don't have any time, then at least we can get a blanket permission from them, because you don't have time to guide me. At least give me a blanket permission to take complete Shiksha from another person. And then we should approach only that person in whom we are comfortable. See, all these considerations, she is compatible with my Guru or not. All these considerations are before one approaches a person for Shiksha. So all these considerations should be first taken into care and should be first taken care of, and then one should approach a person formally for taking Shiksha. So that is the answer to your query, Prabhuji.
Next we have Dhananjay Tiwari Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, pranaams. And thank you for this session today. I had a question related to the secrecy that we should maintain. It is mentioned in Hari Bhakti Vilas that one should keep the Ishtadev, Guru, Mantra and Japmala, hidden secret. How should we understand and interpret that? Because Guru Diksha is done, in front of everyone. So how would it remain secret? So this line, how should we interpret? And can we do a bhakti in ekanti? I mean, in isolation, is that also allowed?
Yeah. Okay, so query is Hari Bhakti Vilas says that one should hide one's Guru, but in an institutional setting where you get initiated from the Guru in front of so many people, how do you hide your Guru? You hide your Guru by not canvassing your Guru in front of unqualified people. That is the meaning of hiding your Guru. So there are many unqualified people. Some people, make it their duty to bring their Guru to each and every unqualified person on planet Earth. My Guru should reach each and every person on planet Earth. So that is the opposite of hiding your Guru. Hiding your Guru means to not broadcast or to not canvass the glories of the Guru to unqualified people. So that is the meaning of hiding your Guru. So that is how it is understood in an institutional setting. And can one do bhajan in isolation? It is not recommended to do bhajan in isolation because most individuals are not prepared for staying in isolation. And only after a certain degree of advancement can one perform bhajan in isolation. So those who are newcomers should, obviously newcomers need guidance from senior Vaishnavas. So they can't do bhajan in isolation. Only after reaching the stage of Uttama Adhikari or only after becoming bhajana-vijñam or anya nindadi shunya can a person consider doing some bhajan in isolation. But still it is not recommended in general to perform bhajan in isolation because there is a lot of risk of getting deviated on the path if one is isolated, especially in today's day and age. Therefore, it is better to stay in the association of devotees. Even the 6 Goswamis, they used to do their bhajan in isolation, but they still used to spend some time with each other. They used to meet devotees. So some meeting with devotees should always be there for us. Complete isolation is not recommended. All right. Thank you.
Next we have Parama Karuna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Pranam Prabhuji.
My pranams.
Thank you so much for the class today and for restarting. Looking forward to many, many more sessions. Thank you so much. So my question is that what you explained about Shiksha Guru, and if one is fortunate to find one, such a guru is a very, very advanced devotee, like you said, Uttama Adhikari level. And therefore he or she should be visible to other serious sadhakas also. He wouldn't remain hidden. He would be very rare, but would be a shining gem that others can also see. And then you said that one should try to get through seva, but unconventional, personalized guidance. So my question is about the time, and I think Vishwadeep Prabhu and Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu also hinted on similar thing. A sincere sadhaka will also want to care about such a person's time, and in the same mood of seva, to not take a lot of their time, because they know that they are busy in their own bhajan, first of all, and probably they are interacting or giving this unconventional personalized guidance to other people as well, who must be talking to them. So how to draw the line between, is it like anything that you can say about like that person, that devotee wrote one letter, probably that was, I don't know, but to Srila Prabhupada, and got a very important doubt clarified, sure. Probably the most important doubt. But my question is how to balance between asking questions or taking the time for such an advanced devotee, if one is fortunate enough to find, versus trying to, in the mode of seva, let them continue with their seva to Krishna and their Guru, and just, tolerate oneself with having their doubts and trying to resolve it in due course of time.
Right. So this is a very good question. The answer to this question is there in the verse of the Mahabharata, which I had quoted, which I was speaking about to Vishwadeep Prabhu, that 1/4 of the knowledge is gotten by hearing from the Guru, 1/4 by discussing with fellow students, 1/4 with the passage of time, and 1/4 by self-study. So once we have exhausted the three options and still the doubt is not resolved, then we can consider approaching the person whom we consider as our Shiksha Guru. And then we can say that, see, I read it, I spent a lot of time, I asked other people also. I was not able to get an answer. Now I am seeking an answer from you. So this way, we ensure that the query is really significant. And I will specify that verse here, that this verse is from Mahabharata Udyog Parva, because those who have not seen this verse till now, I would like to specify this verse once again. This verse is Kalena padam labhate tathartham tatascha padam guru yogatascha utsaha yogena cha padam richet shastrana padam cha tato bhiyati. This verse is not directly in the Mahabharata, but the commentator Neelkant Chaturdhar cites this verse in the commentary to Udyog Parva, chapter 44, verse 16. It says, Brahmachari attains quarter of the meaning of the Vedas by passage of time, quarter by staying with the Guru, quarter by his own enthusiasm, and quarter by mutual discussion with others. If we have exhausted the three other quarters and still we could not get the answer, so if we tried to find it on our own, the answer in other literature we could not get. If we tried to discuss with those whom we consider as our equals, but we could not get. Those who are interested in the same subject, but we could not get. If we tried to give some time, and still after some time the answer could not come, and the question is, it's like a bee in the bonnet, the question is troubling us, then what we can do is we can employ the final 1/4, that is, ask that person that I could not get my answer, now please you tell me. And then what happens is, when that person gives you the answer, then, oh, acha, this was the answer. Oh, So that answer becomes more significant because we also have put in the required struggle to find the answer. And that is also, that is a good student actually, who has first struggled to find the answer. Because there are some students who are, oh, acha, today I had this doubt. Today morning, what doubt do I have? Oh, acha, chalo, let me ask my Shiksha Guru. Shiksha Guru, this is the doubt, today's doubt. So there, it's like, like Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was saying, Bagiche Kamali, we make somebody the gardener in our garden. So some people do that. So they make the Guru their disciple by making the Guru do their work. So actually it is their work. And the Guru is not supposed to do that. The Guru has already done his homework. But the disciple is supposed to do that homework and hard work. And then if still it is not found, then they can ask the Guru. So that is the answer. I hope that satisfies your query. Thank you.
Next we have Divya Nitai Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Dandat Pranam. Prabhuji, my question is like we are in organization, and Prabhuji's situation is like that when our Diksha Guru is not available for inquiring. At the same time, he has appointed some council system or some authority structure we are, but we feel that they are not able to understand what we want to inquire from them or what kind of inquiry we are having. Then in that case, when we approach Shiksha Guru or some other devotee, because our Diksha Guru is not available, then will it not be come in offense zone, or like how we should be thinking in such case?
See, any system in an institution, the primary goal of a system is to facilitate the people. If a system is not able to facilitate people, then the system is not giving the desired result. If the Guru has put a system in place, what was the intention of the Guru? To facilitate the disciple or to obstruct the disciple? Obviously, the intention of the Guru was holistic, to facilitate the disciple. But the system, if it is not working, there is a reason for that. The reason may be that the system may be asking devotees to accept a guide involuntarily. I hope you are able to understand. A Shiksha Guru is supposed to be accepted voluntarily, not involuntarily. That is where the system is differing from Shastra. Now, sometimes some Gurus say, counselor, you select by your choice. Or Shiksha Guru, you select by your choice. Sometimes some Gurus say, no, this is the appointed one. Shastra says that one should approach one's Shiksha Guru, oneself, by one's own volition. Sa gurum evabhigachet. You approach. Sa, you are the karta. Sa gurum evabhigachet. You approach. You are the executor of that action. Not that somebody else will approach for you. If somebody else is doing that task, then your volition is not there. That is when the system is differing from Shastra, and that is what is the source of the problem. So the solution is to go to the Guru and to request the Guru that I would like to accept a Shiksha Guru based on my volition. Just like I accepted you as Diksha Guru on my volition. Nobody imposed you on me. Did we accept the Diksha Guru? Did you accept because somebody enforced on you, or did you accept by your own self?
Prabhuji, maybe that time I was not having the even the proper definition of the Guru. So in our system, that time we were told you take Diksha from this, so we took that like that.
Oh, this is a very different case. All right. Traditionally, you are supposed to voluntarily accept the Guru. All right. Let me just put it that way. Traditionally, you are supposed to accept the Guru by volition. And I am not sure who did that. But if you are a member of the International Society for Krishna Consciousness, this activity is not allowed by the GBC. The GBC suggests that you have 1 year or 6 month minimum waiting period, testing period between yourself and the Guru, and you select the Guru. If somebody else has appointed it for you, it is in violation of the GBC rules. So sorry to say that, but even institutionally, this is not correct for somebody else to appoint gurus for you. So just as for Diksha Guru, it is not correct. Similarly, for Shiksha Guru also, it is not appropriate that somebody else appoints it. You have to approach. Then you are following what Shastra says. Because when you approach, you will approach only that person whom you are convinced about. And then you have nobody else to complain to. You are the one who is taking the sole responsibility for the validation of that particular person. So that is the answer to your query. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you.
Next we have Nilachala Chandrika Mataji.
Haribol?
I believe I unmuted her. Let's see, where did that square go? Oh, there it is. No, she's unmuted.
Hare Krishna,
Mataji?
am I audible?
There you go.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, Prabhuji, for a nice class after a long time.
Thank you, Mataji.
I wanted to ask now, for Shiksha Guru, if you want to approach a Prabhu, being a Mataji, I mean, there should be some Vaishnava etiquettes, and also, and there should be no hesitation from both sides. So how do we handle this?
All right.
If I'm clear.
Yeah. So if there is a Vaishnavi who wants to approach a Vaishnava, or if there is a Vaishnava who wants to approach a Vaishnavi for some Shiksha, so what is the what precaution should be taken? So the precaution that should be taken is that we should not approach them in a secluded place. It is better to have a third person who is ideally our spouse when we are approaching them for certain shiksha. Why is it not recommended to approach them in isolation? So Srimad Bhagavatam says Matra Swasra Duhitra Va, 9th canto, 19th chapter, 17th verse. Matra Swasra Duhitra Va na vivikta swano bhavet, na vivikta swano bhavet. So that one should not allow oneself to sit on vivikta asana, on the same asana, even if it is one's mother, sister or daughter, because senses are very strong. So it is best to approach a Shiksha Guru of the opposite gender along with one's spouse, because that takes care of most of the issues that may arise at that point of time. I hope that clarifies.
That I understand that. What I mean now, today's world, everybody's in different countries, and you want to have somebody who can guide you online or through some conversations through WhatsApp or something like that, Gmail, whatever, and you want some guidance. How would you do? It's not personal, probably personal guidance, but just like that, on and off like that. How would you? Because there may be some hesitation from the female Matajis, and there may be some hesitation from the Shiksha Guru or vice versa. So I mean,
a good social etiquette.
Delicate situation.
Yeah, it's a good social etiquette is if it's an email to include one's spouse in that particular email, so that when the person that Guru also replies, they will also reply by knowing that the spouse is also there in the email, so that they reply in a proper manner, and then there is no unnecessary chance of creating a controversy. And if it is through or another thing is to, if one's Diksha Guru is available, to keep the Diksha Guru in the loop regarding that. A third person who is reliable should be kept in the loop. That is the recommendation, Mataji, whether it is through email or through any such means. So that is my answer to your query. Right?
Okay. All right.
Next we have S. Mukund 2 Prabhu.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji, that was Pranam all Srila Prabhupada. I have a question regarding rendering seva to Uttama Adhikari.
Mataji, your Shubhnam, your good name, Mataji?
Radha Pada Dhuli Dasi.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah. From LA. Yeah.
Yes,
So,
Haribol.
Haribol. So my question is regarding rendering service to Uttama Adhikari. So if the you said that it is very, very important. Absolutely. I mean, in fact, it's a must that we have to render service to Uttama Adhikari for our spiritual progress. But if in this case where that is not possible due to distance between the Uttama Adhikari and the devotee, or the Uttama Adhikari may have many other people approaching them, so they may not have time, or any other circumstances in life. So is there an alternative for that?
So an alternative for not if they are far away, or if it is not possible to associate with such a person, then an alternative is basically to cultivate other limbs of bhakti that are possible for oneself at a particular point of time. For example, Swadhyaya may be possible. Swadhyaya is self-study. Or if at that point of time other limbs of bhakti, whatever are possible easily, one should try to do that. But one should understand that they cannot be replacements for service to and Uttama Adhikari, because service to an Uttama Adhikari brings that advancement which cannot be bought out very easily by other limbs of bhakti. So that it is important to have that sort of service. But if one doesn't have, then other limbs of bhakti are there, self-study is there, discussion with other students is there, or other limbs of bhakti are still continuing. But in the absence of the guidance of the Uttama Adhikari, things become quite difficult, because we get stuck on many occasions and we don't know how to. I'll give you an example. For example, some time ago, I had a particular doubt. This particular doubt is, it is said that if one chants Harinam, one may have Nam Aparadh, or offenses to the name. And then I have also heard that the solution to offenses is to chant more. So this is mutual dependence. If I chant more, I'll commit more aparadh. And the solution to more aparadh is to chant more. So this mutual dependence is brought about. So I tried to, I tried to ask a few people, but they could not give me an answer. And finally, I had asked my Guru Maharaj, and my Guru Maharaj said that the answer lies in the specific details, that the solution to offensive japa is to perform kirtan. That is what he specified very clearly. So the solution is in kirtan. The offenses mainly come during japa, and the solution is in kirtan. And he said, look at the verses. So when I looked at the verses, I saw that the solution is actually the verse which specifies the solution to nama paradhs. It says, Sada Sankirtayan Nama Tadeka Sharano Bhavet. Always perform Sankirtan of Nama. So that subtle detail was pointed out by him. And see, this is, something which you get by asking a person. Doubt solving is a live process. It's a living process. Doubt solving is a living process. So we should keep that elegance of the living process. But if somehow it's not possible, then other limbs of bhakti are there always. We should continue other limbs of bhakti. So I hope that clarifies.
Yes, thank you so much.
Thank you.
If it's okay with you, Prabhuji, I have another question.
Yes, for you, Prabhu, I'll take many more questions. No worries.
You're so kind, Prabhuji. So if I become disgusted with being a neophyte Kanishta Adhikari, it means that I am disgusted with certain neophyte qualities that I have.
Right.
how can I not then become disgusted with other people's neophyte qualities where I become unloving, unkind, disrespectful, offensive?
That is where the next verse of Upadeshamritam will come in. That is why it is important to study the Upadeshamritam in detail. Because in the next verse, Sri Rupa Goswami will say, Drishtai svabhavajanitair vapushascha doshair. If you see a fault in the nature of a person or in the body of a person, don't see materialism in them. So that is where you will need guidance from Sri Rupa Goswami. It may happen so that when you get disgusted with, or when we get disgusted with our lack of advancement, and until we have found a proper Uttama Adhikari, we may end up committing some aparad towards other Kanishta Adhikaris. But once we find an Uttama Adhikari, that Uttama Adhikari will say to us, Vats Shanto Bhavan. Dear son, be calm, right? And sit down, and we will sort out everything. So that sort of teacher is needed. And that sort of teacher is very much important for us. And Sri Rupa Goswami is that teacher, and he has given that in his Upadeshamritam. So once you understand the mood of the Upadeshamritam, you will not, make that error of disrespecting any other Kanishta Adhikari. In this verse also, Krishneti yasya giritam manasadriyeta, it says that those who are chanting Shri Krishna Nam, manasa adriyeta, it's just with your mind you give them respect. So that is what nobody should be disrespected. In that first section I was covering, I was saying even the Kanishta Adhikari should not be disrespected. There is no question of disrespecting even a Kanishta Adhikari. So that is what it is, Froji, because it is important to understand that different people are also, they are in their specific adhikars and the specific level of advancement, and their specific level of advancement, they are trying to advance as much as possible. And if they are not able to advance, so then it's due to some misfortune, but it is not a cause for us becoming angry towards them. So I will point out to you, this is from Sri Adi Shankaracharya's commentary on Bhagavad Gita 17.15. Anudvega karam vakyam satyam priyahitam chayat. This is austerity of speech, 17th chapter, 15th verse. So when you approach the Guru, how does the Guru say? Yatha Shanto Bhavavats. Oh dear son, be quiet. Be peaceful. Don't worry. Swadhyayam yogam cha anutishta. Be situated in your self-study and your practice of yoga, whichever yoga. If you belong to Bhakti Yoga, then Bhakti Yoga. Tatha te shreyo bhavishyati. Don't worry about others. You be situated in your practice. You will gain all good fortune by being situated in your practice. This is what the Uttama Adhikari teaches immediately. What's Shanto Bhava? Be peaceful. So that is immediate result of coming in contact with such a person. So I hope this satisfies your query.
Beautiful answer, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. And our last question is from Omkar Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu, Dandatram. Prabhuji, in this verse, it completes about the sadhu seva. The point I wanted to ask is, if in our course of learning from our Shiksha Gurus, we cause some inconvenience to them, and in our course, it generally happens. So in that case, what should be, as a disciple or as a student, how should he beg forgiveness from the his Guru Janas?
How should he beg forgiveness? Well, if some inconvenience is caused, then the disciple should go to the Guru and say that, if the disciple is sincere and it was not intentional, then, Yes, it was unintentionally. I might have caused this inconvenience to you. I regret that. So kindly, excuse me. This is the sincerity is the mark of the disciple. There is no standard prayer or, there is no institutionalized prayer for asking for forgiveness from a guru. But the mood should be of regret, and the guru also understands. But the main thing is that one should not put one's gurujanas in such a position, because it is, as I said, in the relationship between the disciple and the guru, Omkar Prabhu, what does the guru have to gain?
Nothing.
Nothing.
He loses in many ways.
Yeah, he loses in many ways. The commentator on the 10th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, Sri Suri, he in his entire life, he made one disciple. That one disciple was such that he understood everything from the guru without causing a single trouble to the guru. Without causing a single trouble to the guru. While Sri Suri was writing Bhakti Rasayanam, he suspended all other work, so he was not able to get any Lakshmi. So he incurred a debt of 5,000 rupees. And his disciple Sri Govinda, and this was in 1860s or 1870s, 5,000 rupees debt. And his disciple Sri Govinda was invited to Mumbai to perform do one kirtan. And he came to Mumbai and did one kirtan. There was Peshwa King was in that kirtan. He was so happy with the kirtan that he gave a dakshina of 10,000 rupees or something like more than that to Sri Govinda. And Sri Govinda came back to Nasik. The first thing he did is he paid back the debt of his guru. So one disciple is needed, actually. But that one disciple should be of that caliber. So
yes, true. It's quite indeed rare to that quality and develop the qualities.
Yeah. Because the amount of headache that disciples give to the gurus. Some disciples reduce their gurus to marriage counselors. They turn their gurus into marriage counselors. Some disciples turn their gurus into, they engage their gurus in various ways in their own businesses and sevas. So there's so many gurus who come with disciples who come with their own agenda to the guru. So the guru should also consider whether he wants to have such disciples. And the disciple should also know how much, what is the boundary of the relationship with the guru. Therefore, sometimes examples like these are also very good. Like Sri Suri, have one disciple. Ekas chandras tamo hanti. One moon will dispel the darkness. You don't need thousands of stars. That sort of guruship is also very good. Right?
Yes, sure. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. And I think I speak for everyone when I say very grateful for your association, Prabhuji. This has been really wonderful, and we're looking forward to our next meeting.
Thank you. Thank you so much once again to all the wonderful devotees who are present. My obeisances to each and everyone. Thank you so much, Dhāmeśvara Mahāprabhu Prabhu, for kindly hosting. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Take care, everyone. Oh, I forgot our tradition. I'll unmute everyone, and we can give a big thank you and heart full to Hare Krishna Prabhu. Where's the sound thing? Allow person. Okay. Unmuting is now allowed.
Thank you so much.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, thank you so much for wonderful class. Hari Bol, Hari Bol.
Ananta Koti Vaishnava.
This is one of the funnest parts.
Prabhu, we miss you a lot. Hari Pārṣada Prabhu ki jai.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Hare Krishna.
So many wonderful devotees.
Jai.
Feel like a crow among swans.
Hare Krishna,
Okay,
no problem.
Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare
See you all
Hare
soon. Hare Bol Paramahansa Prabhu. Take care.
Hare Bol.